Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be showing off the brand new Ace archetype. This is an archetype that is getting a lot of attention, and the reason why is you have the Turbulence. Their ultimate boss monster lets you grab 4 cards from your deck and set them. I mean, that's a pretty big effect for an archetype. A lot of people are saying that this is going to be one of the best new decks. Well, let's go and check it out. And honestly, this effect is still pretty absurd. For like any archetype, just to be able to grab 4 cards from the deck, right? And basically, you'll get 2 disruptions. You get like a reborn, you get like a searcher. That's kind of be the consistent like combo that you'll be going for. Now, in addition to that, you also have a field spell that lets you recycle those cards, so you don't need to play multiple copies, so you can actually grab them from your deck again and again by resetting them. They almost have kind of a pot of avarice with their field spell. So their field spell puts back 4 cards, and then you get to draw 1. So you get like a nice little bonus and increases their attack by a little bit. So we'll go ahead and show it up against a lot of different things. First duel is going to be up against Tri Brigade, and then I'll show you guys it up against the new Labyrinth and another more interesting matchup. Okay, so starting right off, I would say the archetype is definitely really good for just being able to get out those 4 cards. Look what we're going to be able to get out. You get something to pop a monster, you get something to actually negate its effects. Then this card Alert over here lets you add one, so it's a searcher. And then the Rescue lets you have one of them and you get to reborn. Now, a lot of the cards will require this Hydrant card. It's kind of like a little like mini monster, but a lot of them will get some sort of like bonus effect if you happen to have like that little monster up on board. And you have to control an Ace monster for these cards to actually, most of them to be actually live. Specifically the disruptions, so like Contain and Extinguish, which are the important cards. You need to actually control a Rescue Ace monster. So if they were to say pop everything, it can actually cause a lot of problems. You'll see like Needle Sealing is a pretty good card, or anything just has like a Book of Moon effect, right? Because then some of the cards may be a little bit less useful, but depending on when they actually hit them, that could actually matter. The thing with the deck is it can go from like, oh, this deck is definitely winning, to like, okay, we're losing like pretty hard. And that is simply due to like you need the field spell in order to recycle your stuff pretty fast. Otherwise, you could potentially brick a lot of hands because you'll have all these cards, and if you can't get out your monster, right, like the deck doesn't do too well when your opponent has a bunch of negates. And that's because, well, if you just don't get out your Ace monster, you have dead cards, right? And that can be pretty devastating for any archetype. But this card can definitely disrupt them, and a lot of different decks can run this, right? Like there's a lot of archetypes where like you don't need it, and off top of that, Labyrinth just got some brand new support, so there's going to be more people playing this deck, and we'll maybe cover the Labyrinth in a separate video. This video we're just going to be highlighting the Ace archetype. So we have Extinguish over here. This lets you target effect monster opponent controls and destroy it. So the little Hydrant card, which is the little guy I was talking about, you get to search out a Rescue Ace monster during your main phase. As long as you control another Rescue Ace monster other than itself, they can't attack this card, and also your opponent can't target it with card effects. So your goal is basically to have Hydrant out and then have Turbulence get its effect every single turn, getting you 4 additional like cards from your deck, and then your field spell recycles it. So one thing that I've noticed with this deck is you need the field spell. You don't have the field spell, all those 4 cards, well, like, you get them out for free, but you need to recycle them again and again in order for the deck to actually be what I would consider successful. We can see Alert activated over here, so it's going to add 1. But if you, where is it? It lets you add 1, or if you control a Hydrant, you get to add any Rescue Ace monster from your deck to your hand instead. So lets you target 1 from the graveyard, but if you happen to have the Hydrant, you get like the bonus effect of it actually being more useful. And then Turbulence is basically the boss monster. Again, that's the one where you get to add those 4 cards. So the summon condition on this card is you banish 2 Rescue Ace cards from your graveyard to special summon it from your hand. And then during the main phase, you can set up to 4 of the Rescue Ace quick play spells and or traps with different names. So they all have to be different names. That is important, and it's an up to. So that's actually good because a lot of people may not be running like 3 copies of each. They may play only like a couple copies of like the trap cards, but it's like not that bad if you draw them. But keep in mind, well, if we can go to the deck over there, we'll go to the effect over there in just a second here. Like the Contain, oh, if I can mouse over it, where is it? If you control one of them, it does not say specifically that you can only activate one of these this turn. It's treated always as one, but yeah, that can be actually pretty nice, that if you do happen to draw into them, it's not the end of the world. But that is something to take some notes of, because you basically want to reset your cards. So he dipped out on this. Now, what's interesting with the dip out on this, depending on what your hand is. So, like, remember, once this is activated, we're getting rid of all face-up monsters. Therefore, these contains, like, we can't activate this because we have control ace monster, and also this we have to control a rescue ace monster. He has the other one that lets you target one, and in your well, it says target a rescue ace monster in your graveyard, or if you control rescue ace hydrant, you get to target one of those in your opponent's graveyard instead. So you don't have to have one, it just says target one, so I think he dipped out a little bit early, but remember, you can bring back, like, even if your opponent, like, gets rid of your stuff, you usually will have all these 4 cards, but you need the field spell in order for the deck to, I would say, be relevant in the game. Now, this is kind of a weird matchup. He's playing some sort of, like, weird anti-meta-ish deck, and it just shows you the power of some of the cards that I kind of want to talk about. So he's going to start off with Summon Limit and then go for the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. We'll go and swap it to the POV of Chu over here. So he's going to go for Hoister. I didn't get to talk about this card. So when it's normal or special, you get to add a rescue ace spell from your deck to your hand, and then when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field as a quick effect, you attribute it to special summon a rescue ace monster from your hand except for itself. So, and you can only use each effect of it once per turn, so he's going to go ahead and attack into that, and he's going to be able to dump because he's actually playing a more interesting build, running the Therions as well in the deck over here, which obviously gives you a Searcher, and then it protects your monster, so you can dump some cards in the graveyard, obviously. That can be okay. You do have to dump a specific thing, though. You have to send a Therion or an Endless Engine R-Gyro system. So yeah, that would be something that you do need to send in. But then we have Hoister coming out, and then Torrential Tribute hits everything. And then he has, again, Contain. So, like, as far as the archetype goes, it's actually a pretty solid one. Like I said, it doesn't really do too well against negate everything, because then you have conjunctional cards where, like, if you can't activate them, this is dead. If you can't even use your traps because you need one, then that's dead. You have a lot of brick potentials in the deck. And again, the deck doesn't do so well going second. But these are, well, there's two newer stuff that you guys did get to see in the gameplay over there. But nonetheless, we got Mirror Force. This card sometimes, I know some people think Mirror Force is like joke. I think Torrential Tribute's like legit. Mirror Force, I don't know. Sometimes it can ruin decks, definitely. If like they summon a bunch of monsters and you attack, right? And then just lose out on like your entire board. He goes for the Fire Charmer, and it works well because you can target a fire monster when it goes away and get it out. So Ace Turbulence coming out. You got to get rid of this card ASAP. Sometimes once this card goes away, like they invest everything into this play because they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to get all my cards back, right? They'll invest everything into this play. You get rid of that, and then there is no recovery, right? But he's able to, again, recycle his card, draws the Contain, and he does technically have, he has another Contain over here. But yeah, like I mentioned before, I don't know, for whatever reason, this guy's making the play where he's not using it because, well, he's got a rescue ace, right? And it's not a once per turn. For some reason, a lot of people think these are like once per turn. Well, some of them may be once per turn, like on the monster effects, but this card over here, as long as you control one, it doesn't say that you can only use one of them once per turn. That's a nice little bonus, and he's just like, you know what, GG's over there. But nonetheless, as far as the archetype goes, I'm going to give you guys the deck profiles for some of the ones that you guys did get to see. This one was by Agent Smith, Q, and the True over here. So shoutouts to all of them for all of their different builds. I'll mouse over it really quick, and if you guys do want to go ahead and get these deck profiles, if you guys do want these deck profiles, I'll include them via the Discord in case any of you guys just want a one-click download, just so it's a little bit faster over here. Sometimes the cards do get updated. I'm assuming he was running 15, but sometimes, again, card texts do get updated. This guy's just maxed out on the hand trap. So you can play more of a pure variant. A lot of people are playing the Gizmak Nagatnaki over here. So let's you tribute a machine monster whose attack is equal to its own defense. So special summon from your deck a machine monster whose attack equals its defense with a lower level than the tributed monster. You can also banish it to add to your hand one of your banished face down machine monsters whose attack equals its own defense over there. So hey, look at that. We got some targets over there. There's another one. There's another one. I believe actually you can hit the whole archetype. The whole archetype does work with this card. And I didn't get to talk about it during the gameplay, so I'm mentioning it now, so that's kind of important. But yeah, a lot of different builds. The Therion one was actually quite interesting as well. I mean, Regulus is Regulus. He's good. A lot of people splash in a lot of different things, but again, the field spell card is very important for the archetype, but let me know, guys, what you think of the ace. Is it going to be like an S tier deck, or do you think it's kind of just overhyped? I mean, for me, I just think it's a brick city deck, potentially. Again, if you don't get out that monster, you have a lot of dead cards, and on top of that, you need the field spell, and if the field spell goes away, you can't recycle your other things, and you need to be able to reset your stuff every single turn. So, like, if you're able to, like, book a moon, and they can't control one, then you just run over them, they may not be able to come back from that. But anyways, that's my thoughts. You guys let me know yours down below. But thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn that bell if you want to see more new videos. I do still have more ace videos to actually cover, but I don't want to make this video like too long. But I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.